Hello everybody, Mr. Undecided here. As I promised, I need to comment and discuss the views of the second debate for Scottish independence referendum between Alex Salmond and Alistair. Clearly it was much interesting than the first one. If you watched the video where I commented about the first debate, again we need to focus that it is not about the personalities of both who are not here electing a president or a party, but it is about the future of the country. So I hope we focus about the main points that will help us to decide on which way to go, independence or not. So clearly there was again about the news and who won and Alex Salmond won, and it's not a boxing match, but it was interesting for me as an undecided because there was a lot of things that like for example the using of the currency, that the pound is guaranteed now 100%. I highlighted this in previous videos from what I understood before the debate, but I think now after the debate and after Alistair admitted that the pound would be used anyway in Scotland, so at least this point is relaxed. Again, the point about the borders, this finished, there is no borders. It will be the same between Ireland and Northern Ireland, part of the UK, as we all know. So there is no borders or custom control between both countries. So this issue is sorted. Yeah, about currency union, we know that there is a lot of things still debates. What's not clear is in case of no vote, what would happen. And there will be another video, I'll discuss this in more details. As I said, I was in my previous video, which was messaged to David Cameron, I was hoping to hear from Alistair more powers will be offered to Scotland in case of no vote, which will be somehow something closer to the Devomax, if we remember this option that has been rolled out by the UK government. So if this is not the case, then what will happen now that Alistair asked Alistair to name 3 powers offered to Scotland to generate jobs and power, and he answered nothing, zero. So I'll be waiting for next few days to see if there is anything changed, if anything offered on the table. As you saw on a previous video, I received the ballot paper. I'm postal voter, and it's still empty. So I said I'm still undecided, but there is now swing, and the swing was, when I started, it was towards the no. Now swing a bit to the yes. So let me go directly to the debate in order not to take lots of time. Quickly, just some highlights on what has been discussed. Again, they start speaking about North Sea oil.
Expenditure. Do you think that the Office for Budget Responsibility estimates, which are far lower than the industry, far lower than Sir Ian would suggest, do you think they're too low? They've been too pessimistic?
Actually, if you look back, they have been too optimistic. The problem has been...
So here, some crazy discussion about the oil revenue, and no one can estimate what will be the oil revenue in 2016, and if it will be more by 6 billion or less by 6 billion or something. This is something that's done on a paper, on the white paper, and something can't be certain. So it's strange to attack a budget through this. So this is first point on economy, interesting point on currency again.
don't have a currency union, what's plan B? Now, I had no luck 3 weeks ago when I kept asking him what plan B is. He either can't say, or more likely, he doesn't think we're going to like the answer. It's not a matter for Alex Salmond what the alternative is. If it's the Panama model, hold on. If it's the Panama model, I'd like to know, because I don't. You accept the outcome, but
tonight, Alistair, they're just like buses, Alistair. You expect one, then three turn up in a row. You've got three.
Anyway, of course we can use the pound, we could use the ruble, we could use the dollar, we could use it.
I think this is the point when Alistair Darling admitted that, yeah, Scotland can use the pound without any approval from anyone else, and it is the sterling pound, Bank of England pound notes and currency. So this is the point I highlighted earlier. Discuss about NHS, and I think it absolutely matched what watch my previous video about the NHS, because I clearly discussed this point, and the discussion there matched the same. Again, I think it was the more power question, and let me see if this video is in the right position. And I think they discussed about the Trident and the removal from the UK, and I think the removal from Scotland, sorry. And that's something I agree with. This country is the size of Scotland. This is 5 million people. We don't need all this kind of weapons on our land, and we don't have our enemies in our borders anyway. So I absolutely agree with this. From moral point of view, it's just, and the Trident is just near big cities, just Glasgow, so any accident there it is a disaster to the whole of Scotland or the main population in the country. Let me run this part because it was interesting when Alex Salmond asked Alistair about the powers that they will.
You choose between defending your country and spending money on the health service. Don't you lecture me on that.
Well, I'm
in the 13 years I was in government, I was part of a government that made sure we did spend more money on the health service, and given another chance we'll be able to spend more money again in the future.
£4 billion a sensible allocation of resources when the health service is under pressure, Alistair?
I understand there are many people who think Trident is wrong.
It's sensible.
Hold on. I do think that we do have an obligation to defend this country, just as we have an obligation to make sure we spend money on public services. So that's the answer to your question.
Name 3 job-creating powers that the better together parties intend to give the Scottish Parliament. Name 3 job-creating powers.
Well, first of all, devolving the work programme to local authorities.
That's the thing. He couldn't answer anything, unfortunately, and he just rang about. So there is still nothing on the table. I think that's it for the debate. At least there is many issues for lots of people about the borders, about the NHS, about the currency, and the economy so far. Other thing I want to discuss with you today. So, does the currency clash matter? As I said, we'll be using the same pound as we're using now. Just a quick. This is an interesting article on the BBC again about Scottish independence, when Cameron promises more powers for Scotland soon. What is this more powers and how soon it is? It is something funny. So let's hear what he said.
I suppose I'm inviting you to address some voters I spoke to yesterday. Voters who've never liked Alex Salmond. Voters who've never agreed with the Scottish National Party. Voters who've nevertheless said to me, we'll vote yes, that way we get to see the back of the Tories, the back of austerity, the back of cuts forever. What do you say to them?
I'd say 2 things to them. First of all, if you want Scotland to have a greater ability to determine its own affairs, but still remain part of the United Kingdom with all of the advantages that has, you can have the best of both worlds. The second thing I'd say is whoever is running government in Scotland whether as part of the United Kingdom or whether separate, it has to deal with debts and deficit and all of those other issues that politicians have been grappling with over the last few years. Let's think of what Scotland would have had to cope with had it been separate from the United Kingdom when Royal Bank of Scotland nearly went bust. It would have had to shoulder.
Just the bank is called Royal Bank of Scotland, but it is a UK bank and an English bank or London-based bank, and all this deficit, it has to do with all international things, so it's nothing to blame to Scotland in that regard, which is really very annoying to David Cameron to use this argument. Let's continue.
On the taxpayer of Scotland, a bank that was many, many times bigger than the entire Scottish economy. This is part of my positive argument. As part of the United Kingdom, there's the solidarity of the different parts of the United Kingdom being able to look after each other in the bad times and the difficult times, as well as supporting each other in the good times.
Just briefly and finally on this, if there's a no, are you guaranteeing to give more powers to the Scottish Parliament, and if so, when?
Yes, and soon is the very short answer to that.
And can you answer Alex Salmond's question? What powers would you give that Scottish Parliament that would actually help create jobs in Scotland?
But what I would say on that specific question is today there are the advantages of being part of the UK single market with a single currency. There are all the powers the Scottish Parliament already has to help the creation of jobs. There's the record of 157,000 new jobs. And of course, with the sorts of fiscal devolution that we are looking at, there'll be further opportunities for Scottish politicians in the Edinburgh Parliament to make further decisions to help growth and jobs here in Scotland.
So, as we have seen, even the Prime Minister, David Cameron, unable to answer Alex Salmond questions. And if people saying with yes, there is lots of uncertainty, I have to say with no as well, there is lots of uncertainty. For example, here, more powers and soon. What are these powers? No one knows. How, when, soon, how soon? No one knows. So the only thing we know now is that only power to increase taxes, which has been offered already there. So we'll be paying here taxes higher than down in Scotland, down in England, sorry. So that's it, guys. This is my take. I think, let me see. Just an update on something very interesting happened here. You can watch my videos because every time I make videos, I try to come to this page which is tracking for the poll about the yes and no tracker, and there's something strange happened here because all the time it was the no was always over the 50%, 54, 55, but today suddenly these figures has been adjusted or readjusted, which is strangely enough to become the no now become under 50, which never happened before. It was always over 50, as you remember. You can watch my old videos and see it. And today, because for me today was a surprise when I checked today, is that first time the no is under the 50%, but as I said, this figure has been modified, to be honest with you, and you can see, you can watch my older videos and you will see it clearly. Okay, let's stop at least at today's results, which is very interesting. The no is 48%, which is first time they dropped it down to 50%. So since the first debate, the no is going down. Since the second debate, it's more down. Yes is going up, despite this one here, but the yes was always going up. And now 42% and 11% still undecided. I am from this 11%, but you can see here it's very, very, very close race, very, very close race. And as I said, it's not, sorry to use the word race, very, very close, but it is very, very important question, because this will decide the future of this country, being independent country, and controlled, and all financials controlled from within the country. or being still part of the UK, all the control happening in London. Just closing on a very funny, in a way, or interesting news, which is a Scottish man has been arrested after votes for sale on eBay. So he put his ballot paper, most probably it will be the postage poll paper, put it for sale on eBay, and directly eBay took it down and alerted the police, who arrested the man. So this police highlighted this has took place several times, and so this man apparently from Glasgow as this news, and this is very, very fresh news. This is the day 30th August, 3:47 has been updated, this article. Okay guys, thank you. Please like, share, subscribe, and share it around, and let me know if you have your views, if you already decided, if the second bit changed your mind, if you were undecided, decided, if you were already on the yes or no and changed your mind or become undecided. Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye.